Hello there, Mr. Automation again with the next part on Terraform and Azure. And more specifically, let me share that what you see here on the screen. Today we're going to focus on the key vault that you see here. We already built the network, we built the security groups, those kinds of things. The last episode we built the storage account, and now we're going to build the key vault with Terraform. Yes, and to build the key vault, we need to have some Terraform files, of course. The first file you see on my screen is data.tf. Inside of that we have the resource group. We also have the subnet for the key vault. And we have the client configuration as well. So that's the subnet name, for instance, and that comes from the variables as you saw on the left. Here we have the resource group name that comes from the data. And there we have the VNet name that also comes from the variables. I'll show in a little bit how that works. Let's open that on the right side. So here we have the variables, and there you see the relation. That's where they get consumed. And there the VNet name as well. Let's open the provider file, very simple one. Only using Azure RM provider, that's all. You can close that again. Now let's open the key vault file as well. Here you see the key vault file that actually builds the key vault inside of Azure. As you can see as well, I will open it on the right, some variables being used there. Create some more room on the left. Yes, so we have some real estate to work with. So here, for instance, the key vault. See, there's a key vault name variable that comes from there. And I think we have another one as well. Yeah, we have data as well there. That's also important. That comes from the data itself. We specified that there. You see that? That's then used over there. Data.Azure RM resource group, etc. That's the SKU name for the key vault. Also variable. We have some access policies, as you can see, with some access from also a data source. That's the Azure RM config specifically. And that holds the tenant ID, for instance, and those kinds of values. Those are the key permissions and secret permissions and such for the access policy, basically for myself. Here we create the endpoint for the key vault, and that's based on a relationship with the key vault itself, of course, because we create the key vault here on top. See that? And then we consume some values dynamically there, the name, for instance. And we append something to that. And then we create a private endpoint based on that name. The subnet ID is the same. We also have the data for the subnet ID. I showed that already in the data file. Let's do that again. Data file. There we have the Azure RM subnet, key vault subnet. And that's basically where we refer to in this key vault file. Right? Okay. So that was enough about that. And let's now open the variable files next to each other. Create some real estate. And on the left side you see the development variables. In the middle the acceptance variables. And on the right the global variables. And I will explain in a second how it works. The left side, for instance, you see the value for the development environment. In the middle you see some values for the acceptance environment, which have different values, of course. And on the right we have some global variables, and those are consistent across all environments. Those are global The way I make them global is just by calling it a global file, of course, because basically there's nothing such as a global variable concept inside of Terraform. I just made it up myself to make it easier to work with. Basically now we're going to apply the Keyvault with all the stuff that I just explained. And there we have our Keyvault in Azure. Oh, not yet. Let's refresh again. Yeah, there it is. We have a Keyvault. It's still deploying, I think. Yes, it is still deploying. Let's wait for that. There we go. So we should have something inside of Azure as well. Let's hope so. Let's do a refresh here. There we have our Keyvault, we have our private endpoint, and we have our network interface for the Keyvault. Nice, everything configured smoothly. Okay, then the next part is show you the variables once more. Right, for the Keyvault we have a couple of variables, and though the actual values come from somewhere, right? I already showed that, but let's make that clear again. So we have the development TFRs, we have some values there. As you can see, resource group name, for instance, matches that, right? We have the subnet name that comes from there, the Keyvault name, and such. See, the school and the VNet name as well. So those come from the dev TFRs file. Right, so perhaps that makes sense a little bit. So that is where the values live. So, and then on top of that we have a wrapper. That's a script I wrote specifically for Terraform states. And it lays on top of Terraform and just runs it based with some arguments. And based on those arguments I can then also determine which state file to execute and on which environment. And also I can determine dynamically which variable file to load. I'll show that in a second. Here on line 55, 56, you see like the TFRs files. So we have one environment specific one and one global TFRs file. And then in the next steps, so you see that on the left, global TFRs, development files, and then those files get fed to the Terraform plan command, and also to the Terraform apply or destroy, whatever we run. Here you see the Terraform plan action with the two variable files. And the same on line 73, you see the Terraform apply action with two variable files. And that makes it possible that you use two files, basically one global, one development specific or acceptance. And then, yeah, basically stack them on top of each other and deploy a complete environment. Yes, and that also means we can put a checkbox here on the Keyvault. Okay, and that was it for the Keyvault. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. And thanks for watching, Mr. Automation. See ya.